everybody, and welcome back to Gaming on Caffeine. My name is Isaac, and we are back for episode 31 of my modded survival island. Last episode, we got rid of our entire logistics pipe system to replace it with this applied energistics 2 system over here. And since the end of last episode, I have upgraded our AE2 system a little bit by adding 2 more of these 1K ME storage cells into the ME drive, just so we can fit all of our items within the ME system without having to take other items out and try and make room for stuff. Now we've got enough drives to be kind of comfortable throwing all of our stuff in there at once and knowing that it will not fill up or anything like that, which is cool. I've also gone ahead and removed all of the stuff from this little island over here. It is now completely empty, apart from a few torches and this crafting station over here. So at some point we need to figure out what we're going to put on this island instead, because right now it has nothing. And also, since the end of last episode, I've gone ahead and done a little bit of organizational work, moving some stuff around in this room down here, because before now it was a bit of a mess. We had these thermal expansion machines almost in the middle of the room because they were being powered by dynamos that we didn't really need now that we've got our big reactor. I moved the lasers over here because they didn't really need to be here. And I also went ahead and added another crystal growth accelerator to this little setup over here. A, to make it faster, and B, just so it looks kind of nice in the corner over here as well. And yeah, so what I want to work on today is I want to start to use our AE system for the whole reason that we kind of built it. And that is to start some auto crafting. I want to start to automate some stuff so that we don't have to make like all of our machine frames for thermal expansion. We don't have to make all of the stuff in the assembly table and stuff like that by hand. Instead, I want to just be able to request it from the AE system and have it make it for me. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to teach our system how to auto-craft certain items. To do that, the first thing we're going to need is a terminal. We're going to need the terminal that allows us to make patterns. I think it's called the pattern terminal. It is this guy over here, the ME pattern terminal. And basically, this allows us to teach different patterns within applied energistics, different recipes that we can then put in different interfaces and teach the system how to make stuff. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, it should become clear fairly soon. So to make this, all we need is an ME crafting terminal, which we did make last episode. But we are going to need another one of these, which I think we should be able to make fairly easily because we got most of the parts from last time. Pattern terminal, let's make the crafting terminal. We are going to need a crafting table, which means we need a little bit of oak, as well as another calculation processor. Do we have any normal Certus quartz? I think we do. We do. Good stuff. I'll take you. I don't think there is currently anything in the assembly table because I changed some stuff between episodes, and also we're going to need some more Certus quartz dust, which we're probably going to have to make in our pulverizer over here. That is fine. Yeah, there's nothing in there just yet. That's okay. We'll put those in. I don't want to make too much Certus quartz dust because we are going to need some Certus quartz crystals for some other stuff. And also, another benefit to moving these lasers over here, I did make 1 or 2 more. I think I might have made 2 more lasers, which makes it a little bit faster for making things like these processes. So let's throw you back in there, let's throw you in there as well, and let's see if we can get ourselves a normal crafting terminal, and then we can go ahead and turn that into a pattern terminal. Nice. So, this works in pretty much the exact same way as this terminal here does, except that it allows us to craft patterns, basically. It doesn't allow us to craft normally, like this one does over here. Instead, it allows us to teach the system patterns. And the way that we do that is with some blank patterns. So, if we were to go ahead and grab a few blank patterns from Applied Energistics, which are made using some glowstone, some Certus quartz, some iron, and some quartz glass, all of which I think we have. How many of those can we make? We can make 1. If it doesn't let you pull one out and it shows the recipe here, that means that there is not enough left to keep pulling them out. You kind of run out at that point. I think at that point we are running out of quartz glass. Yeah, I had a feeling that would be the case. Let's make some more of that real quick, which again does require a little bit more Certus quartz dust. We are actually going to need quite a lot of that stuff. You know what? I will make half a stack of Certus quartz dust. We'll put the rest back in there, and that should be good for now. Let's put you in here like so. Boom, 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 boom. Take that, put it back, and get ourselves some more patterns. Nice. Now, the way that this works is there are 2 types of recipe that you can teach the system. The first is a crafting recipe, like a normal crafting recipe that you would make in a normal crafting table. For example, if you want to turn oak wood logs into oak planks. Now, unfortunately, we don't have any oak logs, but we can grab some fairly easily thanks to the fact that this flipping atomic disassembler that we've got is like the fastest thing in the whole entire world. And basically, if we want to teach it a crafting recipe, all we got to do is we put in the normal crafting recipe on the left-hand side, and it will automatically show you the output on the right-hand side, on the output slot here. The other type of recipe is a processing recipe, and this is how you teach the system how to use machines. And basically the way that this works, for those who don't know, is you put all of the required ingredients on the left-hand side, and then the desired output on the right-hand side. So for example, if I was to teach my system how to use the pulverizer, for example, I could tell it that if you put Certus quartz into this slot, so I would go over here and I would put Certus quartz in on the left-hand side, you will get Certus quartz dust back. And then whenever I want Certus quartz dust, I can just tell my system to make it, and it will know that the pulverizer is where to do that. Now, the way that we teach it to use the pulverizer is by specifically putting an interface above the pulverizer with that pattern within it. Now, I'll show you what I mean here real quick, because I think I'm also making not very much sense to people who have no idea what autocrafting with applied energistics is. So, interface, we need an interface to begin with for applied energistics. We're going to need these for pretty much all of the autocrafting that we're going to do today. So, let's make as many of those as we can. We do need more normal glass, thankfully, not quartz glass. And we are also going to need some more Fluix dust. I think we have some Fluix crystals lying around. We do. And I'm also fairly certain, I'm going to put most of those in there. I'm also fairly certain we have enough stuff to actually go ahead and make some more of these Fluix crystals if needs be. We've got some redstone, nether quartz, and charged Certus quartz. I'm actually going to go ahead and just make as many more of these Fluix crystals as we can, because we're going to need quite a few of them for applied energistics. So we'll take that. I will take all of you. Thank you very much. I'm going to put like a few more in there just to take us up to a nice even 10. And then if we come back over here, we could throw you in there. I don't want to use a pure Certus quartz crystal if I can avoid it. I'd rather use this one. I'm not quite sure why it defaults to the more expensive version of Certus quartz, but it always does. Just make sure you change that if you don't want to use your expensive Certus quartz. We can put you in there as well, and that gets us some more of those annihilation cores. I'm actually going to make quite a few of both of these, like so. Then we can go ahead and make ourselves 4 interfaces. Nice. So, again, if we want to teach our system how to use, for example, the pulverizer, we can stick this on top, and then all we need to do is hook this up to the system. Now, we do have quite a lot of ME glass fiber cabling in the floor here. I'm going to make a bit of a mess to our whole base, but there is some glass fiber cable in the floor, and that's what's powering all of these crystal growth accelerators over here. They are hooked up to that system over there. And of course, the first thing that we're going to have to do is hook those cables up to this guy over here. Now, the way I'm going to do this, I'm kind of going to go in the back here. So we'll go down, we'll go around, I'm going to try and find that, it's over here. Then we're going to need a few more of these ME glass fiber cable, which I think we should be able to make. We've got some more Fluix crystals we'll take. Oh, we're out of the quartz fiber, that's fine. But then we're out of flipping stuff, oh my goodness. We're on the edge of not having enough stuff to make this, but 18 should be fine for what I want to do today. Let's go along and up to here. I kind of also want to automate the assembly table, if possible, because the assembly table is kind of a big one for making all of the processors that we're going to need for pretty much everything within applied energistics. But once we've hooked that up, the system can now talk to this ME interface. Now let me quickly put some of these bricks back into the wall, like so. And now, for example, if we come back over here, and we might as well teach you the recipe that I was just talking about. We'll grab some Certus quartz crystals, we'll put it in there, and we will teach it that if you put Certus quartz crystals into the pulverizer, you should get Certus quartz back. So for that, we're going to have to put the pattern in over here, and then click encode. So this pattern now knows that whatever interface it goes into, if the AE system sends Certus quartz to that interface, it should receive back Certus quartz dust. So, over here, we're going to go ahead and throw that pattern into this ME interface. We want to make sure the pulverizer can accept items from the top. It can. It's blue, which is the input side. And if we were to now go over here and request it, you will notice that it doesn't work. If I go next, we can't click start. Now, the reason we can't click start is that we have no CPUs, no crafting CPUs available. And that is because the way that auto-crafting works in applied energistics is all of the items that you want to craft, all of the components of your crafting recipe are stored in what is known as a crafting CPU before they get crafted. So, much like the way these drives work, a 1K crafting storage can hold up to 1K worth of items, which basically means you can't do really big crafting recipes with the really small crafting storage. It's just a way of making it a little bit harder to do some of those massive crafting chains where you try to make some of the really late game stuff and do a ton of auto crafting. For now, we're going to start by making one of the 1K crafting storage blocks, I guess. These things are fairly easy to make. It is quite simply a 1K ME storage component, which we have made a million times before. Again, I'm not quite sure why it loves to put those expensive pure Certus quartz crystals in there as opposed to the other ones, but it loves to do it every single flipping time. We are are running a little bit low on gold, which is a little scary because we're going to be using so many of those logic processors today, but we'll put that in. We'll request a few of those. Again, the fact that all of these are hooked up to the big reactor's power, and we have so many of them, it should do a pretty good job of making all of those fairly quickly. For now, we will take that, we will put you in there, we will take you, and we will make ourselves the 1K crafting storage once we've gotten that, which means we're going to need some more of the pure Certus quartz. Let's take like 2 of you. I don't want to waste those like I am doing with the gold a little bit, because these are a bit of a pain to make. They probably aren't that bad now that we've got 4 crystal growth accelerators. They would actually probably grow fairly quickly, but I don't want to take that risk nonetheless. Let's wait for that to finish. And then once it's done with the gold ones, it should go on and make the calculation ones as well. There we go. I'm going to take the Certus quartz just back because we're probably going to need it at some point. And then we can go ahead and make ourselves our first 1K crafting storage once we've gone ahead and made this guy. Boom, boom, and boom. Nice. So much like anything else with within the AE system, all you got to do is make sure it's touching something else within the AE system or connected via ME glass fiber cable. Once it's set up, we can now go into here and we can say that we want to request some Certus quartz dust. So we'll click this, we'll click next, we'll click start, and what it will do is it will send 1 Certus quartz over to the pulverizer. Now, the next problem we face is getting that item back into the AE system. So the easiest way for us to do this, some machines you can auto output with, like I know a lot of the Ender IO machines allow you to automatically output back to the top, but with the thermal expansion machines, that's not something you can do. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure this left side is red. I'm going to turn off all the other sides for now because we're not really going to need them, at least not for the near future. We're going to make sure this left side is red. I'm actually going to change it to orange real quick so that any of these byproducts can also get pumped out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make some more item ducts, and we're going to use these. Can we make the nice ones? Oh, do we have any lying around in the system? We do. We're going to take some item ducts, and we are basically going to pull what is in the system out and around into here. Now, if we were to look in our system right now, you can click up here in the top right-hand corner to see the crafting status of any current crafting recipe. For some reason, that one for Certus quartz is not on there. It's probably because we've taken it out already, but if we were to put in here and we were to go ahead and say ignored, any item that is finished in the pulverizer, any item on this side, should automatically get pulled out and sent around. So, again, if we go ahead now and request some more of that Certus quartz dust, again, we'll just go ahead and request 1 for now. By the way, if you already have an item in your inventory like this, if you have 1 lying around, you can middle mouse click, and it'll bring up the crafting menu here. So we'll click next, we'll click start. This time it's going to craft it up, and it's going to straight away pump it out, around, and back into the system, and we should have ourselves 2 Certus quartz dust. Nice! So we can do that with every machine in this lineup here. We can automate any of these machines over here. We can also do the same thing with our assembly table. All we would have to do is stick an interface somewhere connected to the assembly table, probably underneath, right about... Oh, there's some cables there, there's some power lines. That should be fine. Right about... there. If we put that down like that, and then if we did the same thing, we hooked it up, we put in the recipes for the processors, and then from this chest, we kind of just piped it out background and down into the interface, it would work exactly the same. I do want to do that at some point, but right now we don't have enough of these ME glass fiber cables to actually hook this up. So what we're going to start working on instead is also crafting normal crafting recipes, because we've done machines, but we haven't quite done normal recipes. So like if I wanted oak turning into wood, or if I wanted wood turning into sticks, or if I wanted like to make chests, or stuff like that, that is just done in a normal crafting table. How do we go about doing that? Well, for that, we're going to need a machine called the molecular assembler. Not quite sure why, but whenever I start typing in the word molecular, the game does like to stutter just a little bit. This is made in a similar way to the interface. It's made with some iron, some quartz glass, some more of these cores, and another crafting table. Yeah, I didn't think we had much of that, but we can make more of those, and we are going to need another one of those logic processors, which we don't have. Oh, we do have them in our inventory, which we do have to make some of these. We'll put you in. Again, I don't want to use the expensive Certus quartz. I would much rather use this one, and then we actually do need to make some of you as well. And I would like a few more of those as possible, because I'd like to make a couple of these molecular assemblers. Let's put you and you in there again. And once we've got enough to make a few of these, we can go ahead and craft them up. We are missing another crafting table. That's like the easiest thing in the world for us to make. I'll actually go ahead and just make a stack of those just for the future. And we'll take another one of those. We're missing a little bit more quartz glass. I don't think we have enough glass to make that. That's fine. 2 should be fine for now. And basically, the way these work is in a very similar way to the way that the machines work, I guess. What this molecular assembler is it's basically an automatic crafting table. So again, we could put this down any way we like. We could put an interface on top, and then we could put up to, I think it's 9 recipes into these slots here. By the way, you can only do 9 per interface, so we can only put up to 9 recipes for the pulverizer on that one interface. However, we could put another interface on the bottom, on the back, on the side, anywhere like that, so we could have quite a few of them if needs be. But the way that this works, we can have up to 9 recipes in this one molecular assembler. Now, the way that I usually set these up, or the way that I've done it in recent memory, is I usually try and put as many of these interfaces around one molecular assembler as I can. And the reason why I do that is to get as many crafting recipes into one molecular assembler as possible. And after doing a little bit of testing, I don't really think that's the best way to do it, because although that does give you a ton of recipe slots, because you have, there's 6 sides to this molecular assembler, and each one can hold 9, that's 54 recipe slots instead of 9. What I think is actually a better way to do it is to surround one interface with multiple molecular assemblers. And the reason why I say that is because when you have multiple molecular assemblers around one interface, if you request something to be crafted that is in this interface, it will split that crafting job among all of the molecular assemblers. So, for example, I'm going to probably eventually put this little setup into the wall here, but for now I'm going to put it like just here so I can kind of show you how it works. Let's bring this up a little bit, and then let's go ahead and get down our interface and put a molecular assembler either side. And again, just for easiness sake, what we're going to do is we're going to teach our system how to make planks. We're going to grab some oak wood. We're going to put it in here, and we're going to encode that recipe. So now, if I put that into this guy here, if we only had one molecular assembler attached to this interface, and we were to say request, let's have a look, oak, let's say we requested, 10 oak planks, and click next. We don't have enough oak to do this. Let me grab a few more oak real quick. Okay, now we've got some more logs. If I was to request 10 oak real quick, it would craft all of that oak in this one molecular assembler. See, so it did it very quickly because it doesn't take a lot to craft oak. But if I was to say request, 100 oak, and click next and click start, over here, it would go through and you can see it's crafting up every single one at a reasonable pace. You know, it's doing it, it's getting there, it's getting the job done. However, if we were to go ahead and, well, wait a second, we'll see how long this kind of takes to do. If you look again in this section up here, is it done? It's done. I'm always looking at that section at the wrong time. This section will usually tell you how far through the crafting process you are. But anyway, if we were to put 2 down, or even more, up to 6 attached to this interface, and now we were to request 100 oak planks, again, boom, start, it will split that crafting job between both molecular assemblers, making it effectively twice as fast. Now, again, I'm going to try and quickly show you this over here, but I can't because it's done so fast compared to the first one. So what I'm going to try and do is kind of prepare for the late game, where we're going to be doing a lot more bigger crafting recipes, and I want my system to be faster rather than capable of more crafting slots. And basically what it means is it's going to be more expensive for us because we're going to have multiple of these set up, and we're going to have to make a lot more molecular assemblers than I usually make, but it's going to be so much faster than it normally is, because whenever we request one of the 9 crafting recipes in here, it's going to do it almost up to 6 times faster than it normally would, which is a lot faster, especially for some of the smaller stuff like making planks, sticks, etc., etc. So that's the plan for that. I'm probably going to go ahead and kind of grab all of these. Can I use my wrench? I can. Let's pick up all this stuff. And the plan is to stick it, I think, in this wall up here. Although I am probably not going to go there, actually. What I might do is stick it in the wall here. I think I'm going to stick it in the wall and then put like a glass pane on the front. I think that could look kind of cool. The plan is like so, because it's going to be a little bit deep, because it can go, the molecular assemblers can, of course, go on the front and the back as well. So I'm thinking that we kind of put the interface there in the middle, and then we can have, molecular assemblers on the front, we can have them on the side, we'll break like a little bit further back here, so that we can have them on the back. We can almost see the flipping, the ground again, which is a little annoying. And then what we'll do is do we have any sand lying around? We do. we'll grab ourselves some more glass, which, again, that's not how you make glass. We need to make glass upstairs in our induction furnace. If we go ahead and I'm just going to kind of put them down like this, and I'll probably kind of fill in the wall back there with brick as well. And I'm wasting glass a little bit here, but my design plan is to A, fit into this hole, but then B, kind of fill in this so that it looks like the rest of the room, but we have all of our crafting in here as well. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go away real quick. I'm going to make as many more of these. I can't get out now. I'm going to make as many more of these as I can. I'm going to make a bunch more of these molecular assemblers. I'm going to set up all of this brick. I'm going to put another, I'm going to try and get like 6 attached to this guy. I'm going to put another one over here and try and get 6 attached to that guy. I'm going to try and hook them all up with some cabling. I will try and hook this up over here with some cabling, and I'll be back in a second. And a little while later, once everything is hooked up, we should now be able to teach our system recipes like this to teach it how to make the logic processor, if we encode that, and then come over here and stick it into this interface down there. Hopefully, the recipe for a logic processor does come up, and what it will actually do is, for example, with Certus quartz, if we take the dust out, if it needs a recipe that needs dust, or if it has a recipe that needs dust, for example, the processor over here, if we request a processor and we don't have any dust, the system will look to see if it can make dust, and once it realizes it can, it will then send the required ingredients over to the pulverizer to make the dust for us, and then go and send it over to the assembly table. So, right now, there is no dust in the system. If we request a logic processor, it should work just fine. If we request like 5 logic processors, it should start by sending stuff over here. You can see it's making all the 5 Certus quartz dust. Everything else should get sent over here fairly easily. You can see the gold's in there. The redstone was already in there, but it's putting even more in because it knows it needs to put in a certain amount to make it. And again, it's been put into here, get instantly pulled out, sent back around to the system. Once it is done, I'll actually take the redstone out there because it doesn't need to be in there anymore. And we look into our system. We now have a total of 4 more, even though we did request 5. Is one still in the works, or did one just fail somewhere along the line? Oh no, we got 5. We got 5. It was just moving through the item duct there. But there, it's done. It's done. We have ourselves an automated way of making our processors. What I will do between episodes is I will teach our system how to make the engineering and calculation processors so that we do not have to make any of those ever again. I did overshoot a little bit on setting up both of these. We don't quite have enough stuff to make another set of, another like molecular assembler interface setup quite like this over in this section here, because we're running out of certain ingredients because our quarry has finished and we are currently not getting any more stuff. And that kind of leads me nicely into what I want to start working on at the beginning of next episode, and that is moving all of our production of every resource, or almost every resource, over to magical crops. And I have a pretty big plan for this. It's going to require a lot of auto crafting, which is one of the main reasons why I've been setting this up, and it's going to be pretty cool. So starting next episode, we're going to try and move all of our resource gathering and production over to magical crops and see how that works out. Hopefully it'll work out pretty nicely. But with that, guys, I'm going to end this episode of Modded Survival Island there. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit like. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys next time.